Hey guys, welcome to a part of the podcast I call Growing Pains. These are stories of people who aren't just going through things, they are growing through it. Today you'll hear me speaking to my friend Lynton Dell on the podcast, the owner of Warehouse Gym in Leicester, a fantastic facility that's built a strong community based on good morals, good values, training hard, kicking ass and taking names. I know you're going to love this one, guys. Lynton, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you.
How are we doing, my good man?
I'm good, all good.
So how's life been in 2020 so far? It's been messy, right?
Yeah, it's been a wild one. I mean, I don't think anybody would have predicted this time last year. Somebody would have said, like, your business is going to close for 4, 5, 6 months.
It's mad.
Nobody would have took that bet.
It's unprecedented. It's
Absolutely. And I said that in terms of homeschooling and business and everything. And people say, am I doing the right thing? There's no right thing. Yeah. Our generation, no one has ever dealt with this before. So everybody's writing their. I mean, Rich, you obviously run your own fight school as well. You've had to write your own book basically about it, what to do, what not to do.
Made my own rule book, yeah.
And we say you're making your own rule book. I mean, Lynton, we're here at the facility today. It's completely closed. There's not a sweaty gym goer in sight. That's when Rich is talking about making your own rules. Yeah. We've seen some operators out there obviously not doing the same. How have you managed? I mean, you're a disciplined guy anyway. Yeah, how have you managed to say no, we're not doing that?
I mean, it is a hard one because I can see like some of these gyms, like most gyms don't make as much money as people think they make to start off with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, even when companies are trading for 12 months of the year, they struggle. Never mind when they're trading for 5 months of the year, possibly 6 months of the year for this year.
Yeah.
So I can see why people do it, especially if they have got family, kids, wives. Like, it's hard when they're not getting any support from the government. It's hard to then kind of be like, why should I stay shut?
Yeah.
Like, we're just sat here like a bunch of lemmings, like waiting for someone to say you can open. So I can see why they're doing it.
You say about not a lot of gyms making money. People say that about when you do turn a passion into a business. Fitness is drives on a lot of passion. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's for a lot of small operators, whether it's the boot camp in the park or the large facility you've managed to build yourself up to now, it operates on a lot of passion. There's not necessarily all the zero. People look at a lot of businesses and they think of an idea and they go, yeah, I can see a margin on that idea. Now I'm going to execute on the idea. Most gyms start with, God, I really have training. I'm going to get my own kit together. And then you go, I might invent some friends to come and join my kit.
That's normally how it starts for a lot of people.
That's normally how it starts. But for you, I mean, this wasn't necessarily, was it childhood dream? Because you started in the military.
No, actually it wasn't. So I was actually in the military for 9 years.
Yeah.
And then how it kind of came about is I had a bad week in work one week, driving out of camp, and we had like an old scrap area just outside camp. And I drove past, I seen this piece of chain, and it just stuck in my head for like 30, 40 minutes. I was driving. I thought, let me go back and get the chain. Okay. So I turned around, went back, got the chain, and then from Cambridge all the way back to Leicester, I was like, I'm going to open a gym.
From that?
Yeah, at this point, I'd never trained. I was like, obviously, in the military, you do a lot.
You never trained? You've always been in
not in terms of like bodybuilding or strength training.
Yeah,
we done like army style training, military
PTI style.
But nothing in terms of like lifting weights, bench press.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me get this chain, and I was like, I'm going to open this gym. So I was driving home, I had all these ideas, and then my friend had a supplement store on Braunston Gate called Pegasus.
All right.
So I went in there. I was like, I'm going to open a gym, and he was like, what? What do you mean? I said, yeah, I'm going to open a gym. And then literally 7 weeks down the line, I opened the gym.
Yeah.
Like it was so random.
So 7 weeks from the thought process to making it a reality.
And at this point, like, I had no idea what kit cost, like how you go about business in terms of a business plan. Like, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah, but there's some people can also procrastinate on that. You know, we spoke just before we came on about the procrastination of perfection. Some people, I mean, loads of people we know. People probably come here, say, I'm going to start my own gym one day, Lynton. Yeah, I'm just. Weren't you saying that 5 years ago? I'm just getting the plan together. There's never going to be a perfect time. And this is often single guys and girls with no mortgage and no outgoings or anything like that. Yeah. Then when they have you've got children, I've got children. When you have kids and then you've got a mortgage, if you're not going to execute on it when the idea hits you, you're just going to keep procrastinating a bit. So you went sort of head deep straight in. You were still in the military at that time.
I was still in the military at this point. So
okay. That must have been a tough balance.
I'm going to open it and then we'll just see how it goes. And my idea was to have a gym with 100 members. And that's what I needed. And I was like, I'm going to leave the military, have this gym, start training, and everything will be fine. And then it literally exploded in the first 6 months, we went from literally a 3,000 square foot gym to 8,000 square foot.
I was about to say 3,000 square foot wasn't small because I came to your opening.
The first one, yeah.
And that, you didn't start small. Don't be humble now.
Well,
do you know what I'm saying?
Compared to where we are now.
Compared to where you are now.
15,000 now.
But most people, they'll get like a room, like, a little studio room with like one Smith machine and 10 dumbbells, and they'll start a little bit of PT before they build up. But you just went, boom, and found this big empty unit.
I think part of my personality in that respect is, if I'm going to do it, just go all in. What I didn't want to happen is for me to waste 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds. And at the end, it didn't work. And I was like, I didn't quite do what I should have done right there.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because some people, you can get it wrong, even though you're doing the right thing, but you're not going in. You keep dipping your toe. Do you know what I mean? And it's not failing because it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
With a lot of people, they've just not really gone all in.
Yeah, it's just the execution of it.
And that's it. And they can blame the environment, because if you look for excuses, they're everywhere. You can find a long list, if you Googled it, of UK gyms that have failed. Yeah. Not talking COVID, just UK gyms in general. Do you know what I mean? It is a real turnover business. You see them pop up and sprout up and drop down all the time. Yeah. So for you to pick such a big a lot of it was empty. I remember when we first came.
I just couldn't afford to.
And the irony now, though, because back then, gyms were full, as in full of like shiny kit and stuff like that. Now, some of the most popular, not necessarily popular, but there is a popular surge in the fitness industry of things like CrossFit boxes.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, with the greatest respect, because they're fantastic facilities, they're big empty rooms.
Yeah,
just empty rooms. But back then, you'd go to your place and you think like, oh man, I've got to fill it. I've got to fill it with stuff.
Yeah.
So, you had a boxing ring at the first one,
I mean, I say we had so much space that I was still in the army at the time. I had a little bit of personal debt at the time. Yeah. So I was just trying to.
Yeah. So this was nobody gave you a bunch of money.
No. This was what I saved from being in Afghanistan and tours and just personal savings, credit cards. Yeah. And I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm going all in with all of my money. And if it doesn't work, at least I've put everything in that I can.
Because that's another way people write it off. They go, well, it was easy for Lynton because X, Y. It was easy for Jeff, for Pete, for Rich because X, Y, Z. Yeah. If you want to try and find the excuse, you'll find something. Yeah. But it was no big inheritance. Nobody gifted this to you. You weren't already a successful athlete. Because some people go, well, I need to be a physical god to start a gym. I need to do this.
Definitely not.
You need to be committed. You need to go all in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you did in the first place.
For me, it was, credit cards. It was savings from Afghanistan. It was beg, borrow, and stealing. It was just literally everything to get this place going. Yeah. I remember on the open day, I think initially my target was 100 members within 6 months. Yeah. And then within like 9 days, we had 100 members. Boom. Wow. I was like, what? And at this point, I had no idea about business. I had no idea.
Well, yeah, you probably not done a business, but you had some of an idea, because I remember Mark Felix joined us on the open day.
Yeah, that's right.
So you weren't being like, because some people will go, when I've been doing it for a year, I'm going to hope to get people like this and so and so and so and so in here. Yeah. You went, no, what do people want to see? They want to see inspiring people. How did you make that connection?
Yeah.
Because that was a good connection.
I went from the off, literally from day one. I had pro sportsmen in. Like, I can remember on the open day, we had strippers in. I
remember. From the like 5 of them round the front desk, didn't we?
That was one of the best sales things that I ever done. Yeah. Like, the amount of guys that came down and joined because of that was absolutely insane. Yeah. Honestly, that was one of the... And looking back now, like, I kind of...
It's the number one of sales.
I'm a lot older now. I'm a bit cringy about it now. Yeah. But back then, it just worked. I'm not sure what I'd done that was right or wrong. Yeah. Or if it was the right time, it just worked.
And you will have done lots of things wrong.
It's like a novelty, though, as well, isn't it? Yeah. No one else would have been doing it, so people would have been intrigued to see what's going on.
Absolutely.
So talk to us, you said you got 100 members within 9 days?
So within 9 days, yeah. So that was my end target.
So what do you think you did for that to happen?
I think at the time, nobody else in Leicester, even the Midlands, was doing the type of training that we had. Yeah. So we had things like AstroTurf, we had strongman kit, we had just everything that nobody else had. So then when you came in, like, you were leaving like full of dirt. Yes. Because the place was just literally an old warehouse. Like there was crap everywhere. So you'd come in and your clothes would be black by the time you finished. But I think people appreciated that. Like, it took training back to the old school, how it was 20, 30 years ago.
Because again, we see all these shiny, lovely Gucci gyms, but what are the most successful YouTube videos and stuff like that? People say, I love watching so-and-so, right? And who's he? He's the guy that trains in that dungeon with the chains and with the, oh, you mean like warehouse?
Yeah, and that's where it all aspired from. But then over the years, we've had... I think it's 5 or 6 members now that have joined the gym and opened their own gym off the back of being with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Leicester.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So,
and you've got to take that as a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
Some people it annoys them when people do that.
No. For me, it was...
You've got to worry if nobody's copying you.
Yeah, no, I was the opposite. I was like, I'm doing it exactly right because they've seen what works and they've replicated it. And lucky for them, it's worked out really well for them as well, which is good.
Competition's healthy as well.
For sure, yeah. And I speak to still the ones that have opened gyms in Leicester. I speak to most gym owners in Leicester and we chat about stuff. And yeah, it's definitely been a good ride, seeing them copy what we do. I'm like, right, I'm on the right track.
I say the same about smaller communities. When somebody panics because somebody else is doing it, you can't control that. Yeah. Control the controllables. You can be the best version of you. Yes. Lynton can be the best version, have the best facility he's got. It shouldn't matter if Nike roll up down the street and put £7 million into a facility. You can't control that. They might do it tomorrow. Yeah. COVID might happen tomorrow. Control the controllables. And you've managed to sustain through this because you've remained committed to your members and stuff like that. It's not been luck. This has been the progressive journey of years now. Yeah. It's been a huge aspect of it.
Do you still keep in contact with those guys? Do you do like any competitions
in terms of members or the gyms?
The guys that you said was members of yours and they've gone off and
so like we often do stuff together. They buy kit from me, I buy kit from them. Like we get on really well. And say for me, like when I seen people copying, the first thought was like, why the fuck are they copying?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then after that, I was
do your own thing. We do
and that's how I felt. Like I felt really triggered initially. After about a week,
especially
I was like,
when they've been inside. You know what I mean? It's like you've come in here. We've had conversations.
Well, sometimes you feel it's like you've come in here. You've taken all my ideas.
Yeah, and probably a couple of members.
That's how I felt at the time.
And maybe a member of staff. Sometimes.
But then once, literally a couple of weeks passed, I was like, they're copying, it means that I'm doing it right. Just keep doing what you're doing.
And I'm already 2 years ahead, or 3 or 1 or whatever.
And I think that was a huge part. Once they started seeing other people doing it, that just made me go even harder and even further than what I was doing.
I say to people a lot about business, speed kills. Always, Don't procrastinate until it's perfect. Execute now. Being first to the market is massive with a lot of things. Don't worry about making it perfect, because also you don't know what perfect is. You know what your version of perfect is, but when you're trying to give, so like you started with a limited amount of kit and then you adapted and gave your audience what they wanted, trying to align that with your vision and then growing from there, rather than waiting, building something you think's perfect. Somebody walks in and goes, oh, you haven't got one of them. And you're going to think you ain't done it perfect. You're going to adapt. You've changed and sold loads of kit and still managed to stay so pure to what it is you were doing to start with, which I think is huge.
So talk to us about lockdown. Obviously the gym's closed.
So I mean, initially we only thought this thing was going to go for a couple of months. So initially we had, like, I think the first month we had literally a 7-8% drop in members. Like everyone said that we were happy to keep it going, like just keep it going. As that then transpired into 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, we've seen a bit more of a bigger drop, but we've still got some, like, we've always had great loyal clients. From day one, we've always been super loyal.
And that is massive for them.
I think that's what really puts us on the outside of everybody else. Like our clients, I feel, are way more loyal than other gyms for sure. Like we've
because they know you though as well.
Do you know
what I mean? I say this about some massive companies, and I'm not going to necessarily name. We all know, like a massive leisure centre that's part of a chain. It's just a big entity of business. You don't know who it is. There's nobody to connect with, and that's when stuff like this happens. You're not going to keep even. A lot of them have really, really struggled, and some of them will close. Some of the huge chains have really, really struggled because there's nobody there.
And I think for me that was always a huge part. Like I always emphasise with my staff, like, let's learn the people's names, let's learn who their wife is, let's learn who their kids are, and then every day they're coming in, it's like a friend. It's not like a client. Like we all know everyone, and I think because of that, that's why it's worked so well. Kind of everyone's came in.
That's powerful as well, isn't it? Someone walks through the door and you just say hello, Jeff,
straight away. And they're like, oh, so they do know me, as opposed to going to a conventional independent commercial gym. They didn't know who you are. They just know.
Can you just put your thing on the tab to sign in, please?
They just know that you're paying £80 a month, and that's it. Whereas for us, we know our members, we know what they do. So we have a good bunch of staff here. And just everyone gets along with each other. There's no kind of like segregation. We're all kind of one family kind of thing. And I think that's part of why it has done so well.
So what have you been doing during the closure then? Are you just been getting ready to reopen?
We'll actually do generally we have a refurbishment every 18 months usually. So April just gone should have been our one for this year. But obviously in March COVID happened, so we've delayed that. So we've basically just done a full refurb, a full clean, and just replaced everything from all the lights being replaced, the floor being clean, new CCTV, literally everything. Like
which will blow clients' minds away because they'll be like, surely you're locking down the hatches, trying to survive.
I mean, after this, there's nothing more I could have done. We've basically done a survey to all our clients on what do you like, what don't you like, what would you get rid of, what would you keep. And anything that where more than 10 people said one thing, I've actioned it and done it.
That's epic.
Do you know what I mean? So we've got 500 members, so it took a while to go through one by one. But as long as 10 people said one thing, I've done it. So we replaced the lights because some people were saying it's a little bit dark sometimes. We replaced the CCTV. We've done the flooring. We've done the girders. We've done everything that they could have. Got rid of all the kit that doesn't get used. Replaced it with the kit that they wanted.
So for all your members that are listening to this now, then what new kit have you got? Or is that something you
yes, this is still secrets. This is still under the hatchet.
Okay, so for anybody that's listening, I've seen tons of steel out there. I'll give it away. There's tons of steel and awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But to be fair, that's always been the case. You know, one thing I do think, every time I look at your layout, which I think is really unique, is the flags.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I saw that first in one of the videos with you and your dog.
Yep.
And I went, oh my God, that is so good.
Yeah.
Not only just for a visual, but it says so much about you as a person, because from a community perspective, you know, here in Leicester, you live in one of the most diverse communities out there, and it's so people talk about it, you know, it's like a punchline. Oh yeah, we're inclusive. You guys, you live it, you display it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where that whole stemmed from. I was just chatting to some guys when I was working on reception one day, and they were like, "Oh, I'm from Iraq." And I was like, "Oh, I'll get you an Iraq flag."
Yeah.
Do you mean you're still with us? You're part of us. Yeah. And then it just transpired from there, from one client. I think we're now at like 45 different countries. The transgender community, RAF, army, military, and just whoever trains here, their home nation flag is here.
Yeah.
So they kind of feel at home whilst they're here, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I think just for us, that worked really well. And the amount of messages I've had from like gay and lesbian people that have said like, we're not from Leicester, but we've seen your flag in the videos, and everyone that we know in Leicester now, we recommend your gym to them.
Yeah, and communities like that, not from a
automatically
cold,
makes them feel welcome.
Absolutely, not from a cold sales perspective. It matters because you've not done that for an intention of getting anybody in. That's something that's really important to you. You know what I mean? And you were doing that with members you've already got. You weren't like, oh, you know, you see some people ignore the members they've got, and they're all like, sell.
No.
You've spoken to your members, and it just transpires that other people identify with it. Because I identify with it. You know, I saw the different national flags, and I thought, wow, you know, he's taken action on doing that himself. No one's no-one's told Lynton to do that, because you're not one to be told. I know that.
No, sure.
And it's wonderful to see you do that. So around the rest of Leicester at the minute, because you've been able to spend a little bit of time in and out of the town, how's the rest of it looking? We spoke briefly about some other businesses.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure people actually realise the extent of the damage it's done to the economy. Like, I mean, I've not been in town for a while, but I was in there at the start of the week, and literally 1 in every 3, if not 1 in every 4 shops was closed.
Yeah.
Like bailiffs had been
Scary,
in, everything had been removed. Now, people are obviously are on furlough at the moment, so they're thinking everything's fine till October.
Yeah.
But when October comes, there's no jobs to go back to.
Yeah.
Like, this is not going to end when lockdown ends. This is going to continue into 2021.
Oh, at least.
You know what I mean?
From a financial recovery perspective, yeah.
I'm just not sure, say, with this 4 to 6 week lockdown, I imagine that would still put another 10, 20, 30 businesses within Leicester out of operating just in this 4-6 weeks.
There were people that were flapping on their last breath.
Yeah.
And then now they've set it back another 6 weeks. They've gone, that's it, game over. We're done. We can't keep doing this. Can't keep digging that hole. Yeah,
and these things are a massive worry for gym owners like ourselves as well, because even though the gym's doing well, your members, if they haven't got jobs, it affects, this is the knock-on effect.
This is it, yeah. So we had so many guys message like, oh, I need to cancel my payment because obviously I've either been made redundant or I'm on furlough now. I've got family, I've got kids, and you can't argue with that.
No, nor would you want
this
to.
is a hard time for all of us. But I say, look, fortunately, we've got some great members that have kept their memberships live, and if it wasn't for them, we'd be closed down permanently.
I think that's what makes
100%
it beautifully fair in a realistic game, because I hear a lot of stories, both when we visit people in the fire service and also just friends in the community, who say about how hard and tough and unfair. It's a zero-sum game. Everybody's in this. We're all in this together. Yeah. So when people do make actions like you were speaking about there, you don't know what they're facing. You don't know what financial position they're in personally, and this is going to end.
Yeah,
you know, I've seen a lot of people say and do things that I feel like they're going to regret. In moment, and money is a very emotive subject for a lot of people, but you know, have that patience and be understanding with each other, especially for facility owners. You know what I mean? Who they're going through similar things to yourself. Maybe not as big. Okay, they haven't got a 20, 30, 40, 100,000 pound facility, whatever. Everybody's got their own struggle.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's challenging. It's challenging for everybody to see, I think.
So talk to us from the beginning to where you are now. What's that journey been like? It's never easy, is it?
I mean, to be honest, I've really enjoyed it. Like, say, I've gone from, say, opening the gym with no business plan as such, like a formal business plan, just kind of a few ideas that I had.
And learning as you go.
And literally, I mean, if I was to open another gym now, compared to what I paid at the start, I could save 50% of what I paid at the start.
Really?
Oh, by far. I mean, I got so ripped off looking back now.
I was going to say, was there some people that took... And there always is. People take advantage of that.
They know that you're a new gym owner, so they know what they can charge you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the prices that I paid then, like, I'm getting for less than half price now.
Really?
Because I know the people, I know the industry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I say wasted. I spent a lot of money at the beginning that I probably could have not spent.
But lessons always cost you something.
Yeah, but
time,
but it's learned.
money, relationships. Sometimes, you know, these are the price we pay for these lessons. So you've moved. I mean, you said you moved quite quickly to a larger facility to start with.
Yep.
That must have given you, acres more space, but that make a lot of people more anxious. Bigger outlay, and you took on a lot of staff, and
again, it came back to that thing of if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in.
Go big, go home.
I've just seen so many people try things in life and they give it like 80%.
Yeah.
They spend £20,000 and they're like, yeah, it didn't work. And I'm just like, you didn't do that properly.
Yeah.
Like you didn't go all in. And for me, like the results happen when it's 97%, 98%, rather than just
especially
90%.
these days.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to really go for it and
40,
go
50 years ago, you could get away with 80% maybe. And all respect to the generations that have gone before us, but now the margins are so tight, competition is so intense, everything is grabbing your attention on social media and everywhere. It's hard to hold people's engagement and to get them interested in what you're trying to grow.
100%.
So you've got to be that deep. But I think as much as you've got to try harder now, there's a lot of areas in the community, a lot of people in the community that have got a real misperception on what hard work is.
Yeah.
And we use the physical analogy, for example, about getting in shape. We've spoken about what's required, and it's not a magic pill or anything like that. It's boring stuff. Yeah. It's hydration.
the mundane stuff.
It's nutrition. You know what I mean? People say to me about, whatever they're trying to do, I don't want to do running because it's quite boring. And you say, what about the gym? I don't want to go to the gym. Yeah, it is. It's repetitions. The word itself dictates a very similar thing over and over again. And then they don't want to do functional fitness necessarily. It's going to be boring. Yeah. And a lot of your business, people will come here and they go, wow, it looks great, it looks sexy, it looks amazing. A lot of it was monotonous, repetitive
stuff,
behavioural, habitual. I've got to do this every week. Every week I'm going to check in with my clients. Every week I'm going to clean the gym. Every week I'm going to X. How have you managed to sustain that? Does it come from the military? I don't know. Or is...
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. The military's definitely had a part to play in it.
Yeah.
For sure. The military's definitely had a part to play.
Do you think you brought some of that discipline and structure?
Yeah, I mean, I say same thing with the army. It was kind of like, if you do the job, you do the job properly. Yeah. And I think that kind of transpired into then, once I opened the gym, like if I'm doing something, I'm going to do it properly. And it really took off. And I say, I'm not sure if at the time it was just what we was doing or just the time that we opened.
Yeah.
But I definitely noticed a difference in terms of the fitness industry. So we opened in 2011. After 2013, 2014, for me, it died down a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of there was way more gyms offering the same thing.
Yeah.
So it diluted the population of each gym owners. Of like the January boom for us stopped in 2015. It wasn't a thing.
Okay.
And we have way more profitable months during the year than we do in January.
Really?
People would think January's the busiest year, but for us, it's actually not. It's one of our worst ones.
Yeah.
Just because there's been 10, 15 gyms open very similar, you get 5 to that gym, 5 to this, and it just spreads out. So I've definitely noticed that it's died down. So I definitely think post-COVID, I think this might be the reignition of...
It's like the new January, isn't it?
The fitness industry. I've just starting back. I think you might get 2 waves. The people that are not bothered about this whole COVID thing that start initially, and the people that are bothered waiting off 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then coming again. So I think this might be just help gyms out of it, because it has been on the... I say dying, but it has been suffering a little bit the last few years, just with so much competition.
Yeah.
I mean, even with PTs, like they're just offering the same thing, and there's no differentiation between anyone.
But even right back in the beginning, you weren't. So we've said about the equipment stuff that you weren't just offering the same thing, but you were doing little things like competitions. You did. I remember the strongman competitions and just different fitness competitions. Where did that idea come from?
Again, it was something that I basically looked at what every other gym was doing, and I'd done the opposite
and went away.
Yeah, and that's really what I'd done. Like I literally looked. I went to David Lloyd's. I went to Next Generation. I went to all the local gyms. Yeah. And I just looked like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And now I'm not going to do any of that.
Yeah.
And that's literally what I've done. That's literally the story. Because I was like, instead of copying what everyone else is doing, just do my own thing.
You've got to differentiate between the crowd.
And then literally, honestly, for us, like, once we moved from the top floor to the downstairs and we called it the dungeon.
Yeah, I remember it.
Oh
you literally, I don't know if you knocked through, but you cut a hole through.
We literally cut a hole in the roof.
Down into it. It's nice.
Cut a hole with a sledgehammer. It was just bonkers. But people loved it.
And you never even cleaned the edges off, which I loved.
No.
Do you remember also when you moved locations to the new one? There was a hole in the wall. You knocked a hole in the wall, and then you got one of what's the guy that does your graffiti?
Lee. Yeah, so Lee painted one of the 300 Spartan scenes.
Yes,
saying "Welcome to Hell" as the entrance into the leg room,
and that was awesome, wasn't it? And you walk through that hole, and you never put a door frame in it. It was safe for anyone that's there. Health and safety was fine, but it was just awesome.
Yeah,
it was literally because you've obviously got your Hulks and lots of different superhero stuff. It's like someone's literally just punched a hole in that wall.
It was just something different. Again, no other gyms were doing it.
Yeah,
and it just worked so. And we had people coming from Leeds, from Doncaster, from Sheffield to train in this dungeon that they heard about. Like I was so overwhelmed. Obviously, I was just this kid in the army that I was like, I want 100 members.
Yeah.
And then it happened, and I was like, wow, like I didn't expect this to get this big. And then say it went from 100 members, then I was like, maybe we can get to 200. Maybe it can be, and over the years, it just kept going and going. And it just.
But you never rested on your laurels either.
No. For me, I'm not a complacent person. So for me, I remember the first, 24 months, I literally never took a wage from the gym. All I'd done was every penny that was spare, I'd do a Facebook post. What bit of kit do you want? I find that for me, a lot of gym owners, they buy a gym for themselves. They buy the machines that they like to train on. They buy the machines that they want to work with. For me, it was the opposite. For me, it was like, what do you want, seeing as you're paying me your membership?
Serve your community.
And again, I think that was one of the things that I just think worked so well that nobody else was doing it. So we went from, I think I opened with 12 bits of kit on day one. And now we're at 100.
We had the dumbbells and the shoulder press, we had a bench press, we had the boxing ring, and we had a few bits of back
and that
kit,
was
maybe
it.
a calf machine. I think that was it.
It wasn't a lot of stuff.
There was a line of 20 people waiting for the dumbbells.
And then each month, another machine. And I think members appreciate when they can see that they're paying money and you're not going to buy a sports car straight away. When they can see that you're reinvesting, they're like, I don't mind paying this membership. And I think that's partly why.
And also when you give them control a little bit, you give control over it. When you were saying, what do you guys want? Not what do I think you need? Because that's horrible. Nobody wants that. Do you know what I mean? Include in the minute. And again, we talk about growing that community.
For sure.
It's been huge in that aspect.
So what's been your biggest lesson then? To get to where you are now, what's the biggest thing you've learned along the way?
Biggest lesson? I honestly think it's listen to the clients. And I know that sounds really cliche, but I think it's something that most businesses don't do.
No.
They literally just do what either they think makes most money as the first important step, or they just do what they want to do. I just think that's wrong. I think if you go with the client first, the client's happier, which means the client's more likely to stay with you for a longer period.
And that's going to help
they're
with
more
retention,
likely, they're more likely to refer a friend to you to join up with. And I think for me, that was, once I'd done it the first time, I was like, people have really accepted me asking them what they want. Let me do it again. And then each time I've done it, I was getting better feedback. Can we try this? Can we get that? So for me, people come in now and say, oh, look what Lynton's created. This isn't my creation.
No.
This is what the gym members have told me they want.
And I love how, and no respect to some gyms that have got the names on them, you called it warehouse. You didn't call it whatever, Lynton's lifters or something like that. I mean, because a lot of people do stamp their name on it. And there's a little bit of an ego kick.
I didn't want that. For me, it was about just keeping it really simple and old school. What is it? It's a warehouse. Okay, with a warehouse gym.
That's it.
That's literally it. That's
people hear that though. I'm sure you just sat down when it was nothing, even when it wasn't. You haven't even signed a lease or anything like that. Whenever you say a name for the first time, people go, "No, man, that's rubbish." Get a different one. Do you know what does a lot of it? What does Nike mean? Do you know what I mean? First time somebody heard Nike, it wasn't called Nike to start with, but it's a stupid name. People hear Google, people hear whatever. It's stupid until it's a thing. And then you go, "Oh, that's a great name."
Great name, right?
And you go, "It was nothing once. It was an idea of something." And if you listen to these autobiographies and stuff like that, a lot of them started with something little like that.
And
something obvious.
The warehouse was my first name that I picked. It was literally, where are we? We're in a warehouse. It's going to be the warehouse gym.
Whereas some people spend 6 months there.
For me,
what can I call it?
Let's just get it out.
Get it out.
Like I say, like we just mentioned, if you wait for it to be perfect, it's probably never going to go out.
No.
And I say we've always been one of the kind of business that we never quite finish anything.
And
I think people enjoy that. We get 80%, 90%, but we never quite finish that little bit of painting or that little bit of floor that needs repairing, or it's always a little bit warehousey still. And
but that's healthy. Do you know what I mean? I always say to people, and writers are a great analogy, but before they finish their book, they've already started on the next one, and they should do. Before you hit your goal, you should have the next goal in mind. Otherwise, you hit the goal, and then you get a real downward depression because you're not aiming for anything anymore. We're all goal orientated, and I love that about you. It's always what's that, and this isn't necessarily a financial thing. If anybody's hearing this, it's not about what more money. It can be a personal goal, because you've had successes aligned with the gym, but not necessarily directly associated with it, where you've been like sports recognitions and things in the fitness industry, because you've also done a little bit of traveling as well. So how have you managed to balance that with running a gym?
So towards the end, the travel came in. Once we were big enough to employ staff, employ managers, because we're the only gym in Leicester where the owner doesn't work on reception. The only gym, all of them, the owner always works there. Whereas for me, I I want it to be a team, not just one guy on reception. I want it to be some women, some men. Do you know what I mean? We've had like gay people, we've had lesbians. I want it to be really inclusive of everyone. It just has a good time. And that's always been a thing for me. Like I just want everyone.
It releases you to do what you do best. And that's not an ego thing. It's not looking down on somebody who works on reception, but you're not best served in that position.
Oh, no, 100%.
You should be at the tip of the sword. Why not? Because I'm out there, I'm buying kit, guys. I'm looking for opportunities. I'm trying to make sure the doors stay open so that we can grow this into something bigger. I'm not resting on my laurels where I'm just sitting behind the reception desk. It's a big thing to acknowledge. So after that, you started moving around the UK and did a little bit of traveling as well.
So I've literally just got back from, I went to South America and America for a year.
Awesome.
So that was nice. And again, we just built that good of a team, like staff-wise, that I was able to go away and it was fully controlled. Like they took all the stress away from me. The members are great. So for me, it was like a perfect opportunity. And I opened the gym at 25 and that's when I wanted to go traveling. But I was like, I need to get the business to a position and to where I can walk away and I can still get a wage each month. I've got good staff in place, good members, and that happened this year.
People so rarely invest in themselves, though. I always say to people, the best investment you'll ever make is in yourself. And something such as traveling, something such as paying to go on a course or anything like that, it's investing in yourself so that you can keep the golden goose laying, if you know what I mean. You're not better than anybody else. What I mean by that is you're the owner, so you've got to stay happy and healthy mentally for this to continue. Do you know what I mean? And when you're out there traveling, you're not just you're having a great time, but you're looking, you're learning, you're experiencing different things, and it brings a better Lynton back
for sure.
to all of your members. Because I've seen, you've come back, the different ideas that you're implementing, still listening to your clients, you're getting all this new kit, and it's allowed you to have sort of a mindset that's going to cope through this COVID. So how did you manage to balance that with your staff? Because obviously you've had them with you for a long time. Some of them have been here since the start, right?
So some of them have been here from the start. Some of them have moved around. And even when they move around, we still have a really good team. We never kind of get people that are like isolate or kind of like keep themselves to themselves. Everyone's always invested in the gym. They believe in what we're doing and the type of gym that we want to be. So we've always had a really, really good team, and that's the only reason I've been able to then step back and do things that I want to do, kind of thing for it.
I love that you also do some charity work here. So I've seen that you raised loads of money last year and you're doing something for cancer as well.
So generally what we do is every year at Christmas we'll do some form of charity work. And we've done that from 2011, from the year we opened every Christmas. And I think
so for anybody that's not familiar with it, what ones have you done?
So we've done ones where one of our old clients had brain cancer and a brain tumour. So we raised some money to send him away. We've done like Easter egg collections for local playgrounds that don't have any money. We've sent local school grounds on their Christmas trips and like ice skating trips. Generally, we just kind of do something local. So if it's either a client's family member or a play scheme in the area, is generally what we do. I think we're like £8,000 now over the last 8-9 years.
That's huge.
And generally, we kind of do raffles. We get clients just to donate. We do mini competitions.
I think it's massive that you keep it local as well, because every charity is deserving and stuff like that. But when I've raised money, I've done it for like Rainbows in Loughborough or other local charities, because it's nice to see where it goes. Do you know what I mean?
That's one of my biggest things. I think it was the first or second year we were looking at doing it to a big charity, and I was actually then looking at when they get money, where does it go, and where can I see that money's going? And
that's it,
And I couldn't find anything. So then I was
you're not saying nobody's stealing it. I'm sure it's going somewhere valuable, but you can't see the outcome. Do you know what I mean? When you see that this money's gone to X and that's the result that you, the members, the owner, the staff, whatever, you've produced that result. And also to be able to do it for a member, I mean, that's massive. Do you know what I mean? They're no bigger or more important than anything else than child abduction or, cancer aid or anything like that. But to do it to somebody in the community, because they're just as needing as anybody else. And they say charity starts at home.
Oh, for sure. I can't remember, I think it was last year, the lady who had, her son had a brain tumour, needed like an extension building in the house. I think we raised like $3,500 within our gym. From gym members, from friends, all clubbing together to build him this extension that he needed. And I think for me, it's more personal. When I know the person and I can physically see that you're going to get this at the end, for me, it's an even bigger driver. So same with, we work with a local play scheme. We gave them money and they went on the ice skating Christmas trip. But we can physically see the videos and the photos of the kids getting what they wanted. So to me, that's way more worth it. And again, like I said, all charities are deserving, but when you can physically see the outcome at the end and it's not just going into this one big pot, for me, it's a bit more pleasurable.
That's one of those things.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, sure.
It's like an intangible thing that your why is, I want to help somebody and I want to see where it goes. The outcome then is a wonderful reputation for the gym and stuff like that. But when people try and reverse engineer that, that's when they get it wrong and they get it cold. Because they'll see you 3, 4, 5 years down the line, whatever, and they'll go, oh yeah, well it's all right for him because he's obviously done the charity for this, he's already done the charity for that. But it's not been that way. If you lead with the right why, those things will come.
It just comes naturally.
But if you've always got money on the mind, if you're always ending for that aim, you're not going to get there because it's going to feel false, and people will see that.
Yeah, for sure. No, and totally agree. Say money for me, especially growing up, I was always about the money.
Yeah.
Do you mean like I was very money orientated, and it wasn't until kind of like late 20s that I kind of detached from the money. And personally, like since then, business has gone way better.
Yeah.
Like everything it doesn't feel so forced now.
Yeah.
Do you mean
it's like you're trying to chase
flows.
fog when you chase money? Do you know what I mean? It'll always elude you. It's such a strange, and again I say emotive subject. People have some really random associations with it. Say, oh, money's evil, money's this, money's that. It's not. It's just a thing that enables action.
Yeah.
In this world, we've decided this thing is important, and we're going to add value to it. And then it allows you to do lots of things. Yeah. It's not about getting the fancy car or anything like that. Money is going to produce this gym. Money's going to buy, that thing for the extension for the home. You know, it's going to enable people to do things. If you just look at it as an enabler rather than chasing it for your own value all the time, you're never quite going to get there. And you seem to have reached quite a balanced place.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely now for me, money's kind of like, money's great, but it isn't the be all and end all like it was for me when I was mid-20s.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit more freedom than the average person if you have a little bit more. But yeah, it definitely isn't the driving force now. And since, like, personally, I made that switch and I realized that money wasn't going to get me where I wanted.
Yeah.
Say everything just felt so much easier. Like life in general felt like it wasn't such a slog. Like before that, it just felt like everything was just draining, slogging it out, like just repetitive stuff. Just you try and chase that next client, and when somebody leaves, why are they leaving? I've done everything they want me to, and start getting a little bit triggered by it.
Yeah.
Until I realised, like people leave. That's it. People rotate.
Control the controllables.
Customers leave, and
that's
okay.
They're going to. They're at a different place in their life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just continue to do the best that's in your control, and people will recognise that, and then they'll see that, and they'll come back. So hopefully, we're going to move out of COVID soon over all this madness. What are the things have clients got to look forward to as they come back? Because I've seen, obviously, without giving any secrets away, we've done a big investment in the gym.
Yep.
Everything's looking a lot better, a lot healthier. Are you seeing the same clients coming back, or are you going to see a surge?
So I think we're going to see a bit of both. I think majority of the clients that were with us will come back. But I also think having read the messages that we get online and social media, I think we're going to get a lot more as well.
Yeah.
They've seen what we've been doing. They've seen how inclusive we are. They've seen the kit that we're potentially going to replace. So I think that we're going to get. I think it's going to be a busy period for us.
Yeah.
I think once we are allowed to open, I think people will just appreciate the gym a little bit more, especially the guys that have like bought home kit now.
Yeah.
They realise how expensive gym kit is.
And respect it.
And I think that will definitely help. I say, as I mentioned to you earlier, we're going to go into a members only gym.
Fantastic.
Because for me, like if our members hadn't have kept their membership live now, we would fully be closed. I would be closed. I would be bankrupt. So for me now, like it's just a personal thing that the people that kept the gym going are the ones that get to have this great facility. Yeah. So that's one of the major things we're going to change.
There's a huge trust factor involved there as well. We spoke before about CrossFit gyms and communities like that. That's exactly what you've created here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Detached from all the names and everything like that. The warehouse is about a community. Yeah. We spoke about it in the flags. We spoke about it in asking people's opinions. And now it's incredible to see you're going to honour that by making it a members only, because people should as well. I appreciate people travel around a lot and they just want to do 1 or 2 sessions here or there, but you're like, guys, we invest a lot in you, not just financially. You know, I'm talking to you. I care about you. You know, I want to get to know your name and time. You never get time back. Money, you win it, you lose it. Time, you'll never get that back. So now people are making that decision to invest in warehouse for a membership. It's going to be such a stronger core.
Yeah, I definitely think so. The members only to me is just going to make everyone, once everyone knows, when they look around, like everyone else here is a member as well. I just think that will make people appreciate the kit more. I think that will make people appreciate each other more. I just think just the cohesion between everyone. They'll
so open up more.
I really think. I mean, I've wanted to do it for years, to be honest, but just never quite got around to it. Whereas now, this is the perfect time to make a few rule changes that we want to make, and then bring that in.
So a lot of people think that, we're the best gym locally and we're the best gym that, which is absolutely fine. And we should all have pride in our business and stuff like that. But you've actually been one of the few ones which has been recognised sort of nationally. Back in 2011, I think you won your first one, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. So we won Best Newcomer Gym of the UK. So
which is huge because, I mean, there's hundreds of gyms open every year, isn't there?
The year, I think there was 380 new gyms that registered.
380?
Yeah. So
that tells a lot of people how many start.
Final 7, I think it was, at the final awards night.
Yeah.
And then we went on to win. So for us, it was just like, we've opened this gym. None of us really had an idea what we were doing.
No.
We just kind of winging it, I guess, for the first 6-12 months, learning what we need to do. But then to get on stage and be like, right, what you've done actually worked. It was like, gave me the confidence, like we can do more than this.
It's nice to be recognised by the industry as well.
For sure.
You know what I mean? As much as we've spoken about being recognised by our customers, and that's ultimately what's important, but to have other people in the same profession, you're new to it, sort of look over the shoulder and go, yeah, well done, mate, actually. You really, really leveled up there. So it shows it wasn't a trick.
Yeah, for sure. I think off the back of that first award, that's what kind of led us, right, let's keep pushing. Let's this can be bigger than it is.
And I say, because you weren't a one-trick pony, because you did it again like 2 years later,
and then,
didn't you?
Then the second year we was moving the second year, so we didn't actually apply for it the second year. We finally got downstairs into the dungeon, and then we applied for it again, and we won Best Gym in England, Midlands and Wales. That was that year.
It's massive again. It shows you're not that one-trick pony.
That was over. I think it was 600 gyms. That was.
Yeah.
So both awards that we've won, like it was insane at the time. It was just so overwhelmed with all these awards that were coming out, and say not having a clue really what we were doing and why we was doing it, and everything's kind of just been the right path forward. We've always took the right route.
I always like to talk to people about things like strategy versus tactics, and I think what I've heard from your conversation there is you've always had the same strategy. Do you know what I mean? Now the tactics might change. The kit comes in, the kit goes out. You know, the members that may come and go, but the core strategy, the why behind why you're doing this business, has always remained the same. You've got those 2 recognitions within the awards, and then you've made minor pivots. But the gym today, yes, it's got lots more equipment, and it's repainted and graffiti and whatever like that. But the core of what it started as is just a better version of what it once was. You've learned everything from your travels, from your awards, from going up and down the UK and seeing other gyms, seeing other people try and pop up and do something similar. You've had that sort of mental discipline, as I've spoken about, to stick to your why, know what works, and your customers have really seen that. And I think that's what differentiates you between a lot that are really struggling out there.
Yeah, so we have since then we have kept it fairly the same throughout the whole time.
Yeah,
and I think that's just people can see we're consistent. Yeah, we know what kind of gym we are. Like we know that we can't compete with David Lloyd's. We're fully aware of that.
And you're not trying to.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm not trying to compare with them, but there's also an area where we feel that we're slightly higher than some of the local independent gyms, but not quite the commercial gym. We kind of fit in that bracket there. I think for us, that's a nice place to be, especially with the size that we have as well.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're almost a bit like Marmite, and you're happy to be Marmite. Some people love it, some people hate it. If somebody wants to wear, or respect people, if somebody wants to wear lots of Lycra and go to the clinically clean gym, they're not going to enjoy a warehouse, and that's absolutely fine. You're not looking for that person, because nobody, if they're absolutely honest, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
So in a gym like this, where we accept each other's perfections, uniqueness, failures, successes, and everybody's still allowed to come in and then able to interact with everyone else who's just as imperfect as they are.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of one of the biggest things. I mean, we've got women here that are size 32.
Beautiful.
But we've also got women that are bulimic, size 6.
Yeah.
Like we literally have a person from every walk of life. We have overweight men, overweight young children, young kids, like teenagers.
Yeah.
We have people that have never been in the gym before. We've had people that have been training for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Like we literally have everything. But like you can see like a size 32 lady getting help from an average size guy.
Yeah.
Like there's no, for us, it's never been about, oh, look at them or look at us. It's never been about that.
And that might blow some people's mind, because I come from an area 20, 30 miles away. Some people hear warehouse and they remember back from the strongman days. It's beautiful that they can now know, oh my God, I didn't realize it's so inclusive, and people just like me go there, whether it's the guy, the girl, big, small, no matter what. It's great that they can access a facility like this where they're not going to feel intimidated, because it's a scary place. When you first walk into any gym, it can be a very, very scary place. And with the greatest respect to all your staff, it's lovely that you haven't got a god. Do you know what I mean? Stood at, because you go into some gyms and you see the person standing behind, you're like, oh my God.
And that's not what we wanted. We wanted normal, average people to come in.
And we say that as a perfect thing. Do you know what I mean? Not like average, like you're less than anybody else, because we're all that way. You know what I mean? We want people to be able to come in and feel accepted and included. You've got to be able to deadlift 100 kilos. You've got to be 8% body fat to come here.
I think that was part of why we slightly changed our business model after a couple of years. So kind of as we opened, it was a predominantly strongman style kind of gym. But then in the industry, it was kind of, warehouse gym is only for strongmen. So kind of over the time, we had to slowly change that and just reduce the type of client that we had in that in that sector, and move more towards the pit where everybody can come and train.
Of course.
And that's kind of where we are now. So the strongman kit compared to what we had before is a way smaller selection than what it was 6-7 years ago. But it's what works for the gym now. We have the right amount of clients in each sector. So whether they're using the AstroTurf or the deadlift platforms or the strongman kit, it's something for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not just one trick pony. You can. So we have sprinters here. We have ballet dancers here. We have, literally everything. Footballers, rugby guys, basketball. And they've all got something in here that they're training with.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what it's about. Like, it's not just you can only come here for your bodybuilder. And that's how some of these gyms are. Like,
they purposely market themselves for that. And they alienate a large amount of the community for doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the strongest aspects of Warehouse and why you're going to continue to be successful as we come out of this.
Yeah. And so that's definitely one of the things that I think they get wrong. You've got to take the lessons as they come.
That's it, brother. Lynton, thank you for coming on the show, my man. And I look forward to seeing you open up again soon.
Thank you, man.
That's another great episode of Growing Pains. Thanks for coming back and thanks for listening in. From me and the team, reminding you that, look, life is going to be tough. Life is hard. It's supposed to be. Don't ask for life to be easier. Ask yourself to be better. You've got to raise your standards. You've got to raise your game. Don't just be going through it, be growing through it. Life will be as hard as the expectations and demands and standards you place upon yourself. So keep pushing yourself. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry. And I'll see you right back here for another episode real soon.